The internet has been watching this situation unfold with a mix of curiosity, disbelief, and a little bit of quiet judgment. Because suddenly, the same woman who once spoke so confidently about freedom, healing, and stepping into a brand new chapter is now sending a very different message to the world. Recently, videos started appearing on social media where Tia Mowry looked emotional, vulnerable, and almost exhausted as she talked about wanting real love again. Not just casual attention, not just dating for fun, but the kind of love that actually feels stable and intentional. And that shift alone immediately had people online raising their eyebrows. Because according to several reports circulating across blogs and celebrity pages, Tia might be quietly trying to reconnect with Cory Hardrict, the same man she once publicly walked away from. But here's the part that makes the story even more complicated. Many insiders claim Cory has already moved forward with his life, and the possibility of reconciliation may no longer exist. In other words, the door that once stood open might now be permanently closed. To understand why this situation has people talking so loudly, you have to go back to the beginning of their relationship. When Tia and Cory married in 2008, they looked like the definition of a strong Hollywood partnership. They often spoke about commitment, patience, and the reality that marriage requires constant effort. During interviews, they emphasized how choosing the same person every day is not always easy, but it is a decision that must be made repeatedly. Fans admired that honesty. For years they represented something rare in entertainment, stability. So when the announcement of their divorce suddenly appeared after nearly 2 decades together, the internet froze. Nobody expected it. People began searching for explanations, hidden problems, secret betrayals, anything that could explain how such a seemingly grounded relationship collapsed so quickly. But what truly intensified the public conversation came after the announcement. Instead of quietly stepping away from the spotlight, Tia went directly into a wave of interviews, podcasts, and media appearances. During that period she repeatedly described the divorce as something liberating. She spoke about discovering herself again, about stepping into independence, about finally living life on her own terms. At one point she even compared her marriage to a curriculum and described the divorce as a graduation.
My marriage was a success.
Yeah.
I look at it as like a curriculum.
That statement exploded across social media almost immediately. Some fans praised her honesty and self-growth. Others felt the comment sounded dismissive toward Cory, as if their entire relationship had simply been a lesson she completed before moving on. And while that narrative spread online, Cory found himself pulled into a storm he did not seem interested in joining. Rumors began circulating, as they always do during celebrity breakups, suggesting infidelity or betrayal. But Cory addressed the speculation calmly and directly. He publicly stated that he did not cheat. After that statement, he largely stepped back from the public drama. Whenever reporters asked him about the separation, his tone remained respectful and composed. He avoided throwing accusations, avoided responding with bitterness, and avoided creating more chaos. In an internet culture that often rewards explosive responses, Cory's quiet approach stood out. Many fans started noticing the contrast between his silence and the very public narrative surrounding the divorce. Meanwhile, Tia continued presenting her new chapter with confidence. On social media she spoke openly about being in her single girl era. She shared posts about growth, healing, independence, and rediscovering happiness. To her supporters, it looked like a woman reclaiming control of her life. But to others watching closely, something about the messaging began to feel overly optimistic, almost as if the reality behind the scenes might be more complicated than the captions suggested. And that brings us to the moment where the conversation suddenly shifted again. Because recently, viewers started noticing something different in Tia's tone. Instead of the confident declarations about thriving after divorce, her recent posts carry a more emotional energy. She has spoken about loneliness, about the difficulty of dating again, and about the challenge of finding someone who genuinely wants to build something meaningful. Social media reacted immediately. Comment sections exploded with speculation. Some users expressed sympathy, saying that rebuilding life after a long marriage can be incredibly painful. Others were far less gentle, pointing out how quickly she seemed ready to replace the relationship before the divorce papers were even finalized. One viral comment summed up the confusion perfectly: "You celebrated leaving the marriage like it was freedom. Now you are crying about wanting the same love you walked away from." Another user wrote, "The grass always looks greener until you step onto the other side." The reactions have been relentless, with thousands of people dissecting every interview, every caption, every emotional video frame by frame. Then another twist appeared in the story. When Tia announced her upcoming reality series, Tia Mowry, My Next Act, viewers immediately assumed the show would finally reveal the truth about what actually happened inside that marriage. People expected answers. They expected details about the struggles that led to the divorce. They expected clarity about whether there were deeper issues behind the scenes that the public never saw. Because after nearly 20 years together, relationships rarely collapse without a complicated story hiding somewhere beneath the surface. Now the internet is watching closely, waiting to see whether this reality show will finally expose the truth or simply create another layer of mystery around a relationship that once looked unbreakable. And the biggest question hanging in the air right now is painfully simple. Did Tia truly find freedom after the divorce, or is she slowly realizing that the life she walked away from might have been far more valuable than she understood at the time? Because if there is one thing the internet never forgets, it is the moment someone celebrates leaving a chapter, only to later realize that the story was not finished after all. For years, people have been watching Tia carefully, waiting for the moment when she would finally reveal the real reason her marriage ended. 3 years have passed since the divorce, and somehow the conversation has danced around everything except the one question that everyone keeps asking. What actually happened behind the scenes between Tia and Cory? Instead of clarity, audiences have been given carefully polished speeches about healing, independence, and self-discovery. But to many viewers, it began to feel like something important was being deliberately left out of the story. Social media started buzzing with the same frustration. People were saying the same thing again and again: if you are going to make your new chapter about divorce and independence, then why avoid the truth about what truly ended the marriage? And the strange part is how quickly the narrative shifted. At first, viewers expected a raw look into the lonely reality of starting over after a long marriage. For a brief moment, Tia showed glimpses of that. Quiet scenes. Reflective moments. The type of honesty that people thought would lead to a deeper conversation. But then, almost instantly, the focus changed. Instead of exploring the complicated reality of the breakup with Cory, the spotlight suddenly moved to family drama involving her sister. And the internet noticed immediately. Comment sections exploded with speculation. Some viewers believed the shift felt strategic, almost like a distraction designed to keep the audience entertained without touching the one topic everyone wanted answers about. Many fans believed that the reality show created the perfect opportunity for Tia to finally explain everything. If there was ever a moment to be transparent about what marriage to Cory truly looked like, that stage was it. Cameras were rolling. The audience was listening. But instead of a confession, viewers received carefully edited storytelling that left more questions than answers. The result? A growing feeling online that something about the narrative simply did not add up. Some viewers even started saying the entire storyline felt like an attempt to keep the spotlight rather than reveal the truth. Because here is the thing about Tia that longtime followers understand very well. She has never been someone who disappears quietly. Anyone who thought she would step away from public attention after the divorce clearly underestimated how much she thrives in the spotlight. So when she recently posted a video announcing that she was ready to find love again, the internet immediately leaned forward. Her therapist had supposedly given the green light. She was stepping back into the dating world. The announcement sounded dramatic, almost like the beginning of a brand new reality series. Fans started wondering if this was a teaser for another show or perhaps the reveal of a mysterious new partner. But instead, it turned out to be something far less satisfying. No new relationship. No shocking reveal. Just another carefully packaged moment that left viewers feeling like they were being played with emotionally. Online reactions were ruthless. Some people wrote that the entire healing journey felt more like performance than progress. Others argued that the narrative kept changing depending on what generated the most attention that week. And that is where the real debate started to grow louder. For decades, people watched Tia grow up on television. From her early days on Sister Sister, audiences felt connected to her story. Many believed that connection meant they would naturally support her through this new chapter of life. But instead, skepticism started creeping into the conversation. The more she spoke about rediscovering herself, the more some viewers began questioning whether the divorce had truly been necessary in the first place. Because according to everything the public knew, Cory did not have a scandal attached to his name. There were no explosive cheating rumors, no stories of betrayal, no accusations of mistreatment. By most accounts, he appeared to be a supportive partner and a devoted father, which only made the situation more confusing. If the marriage did not collapse because of betrayal or cruelty, then what exactly pushed Tia to walk away from it? Eventually, a possible explanation began circulating. Tia reportedly felt that Cory had been her first everything. First serious love. First major relationship. First marriage. And somewhere along the way she began wondering whether she had experienced enough of life before settling down. That idea opened the door to a completely different phase of self-discovery. A phase where she could explore dating, independence, and possibilities she felt she missed earlier in life. But not everyone supported that reasoning. Critics online started asking a brutal question. Why walk away from something stable just to chase the unknown? Comment sections filled with metaphors about greener grass that sometimes turns out to be dry soil. Some viewers argued that the search for something better can easily turn into the realization that what you had was already valuable. Tia pushed back against that criticism at the time. She made it clear that just because dating felt complicated did not mean she would return to a situation that no longer fulfilled her.
So you talk about your transition, and I like that you use that word.
Yes.
Do you not use the D word?
In her view, walking away was part of choosing herself. It was part of refusing to settle. She compared it to an actor refusing to give up on their dreams simply because opportunities do not appear immediately. But here is where the story becomes even more interesting. Recently, people started noticing a subtle shift in her tone. The confidence that once filled her speeches about freedom and independence began sounding slightly more reflective, maybe even cautious. Because the reality of the dating world has a way of humbling even the most confident hearts. Self-love and spiritual growth can provide strength, but they do not guarantee happiness in the unpredictable world of relationships. And while all of this unfolded publicly, Cory remained mostly quiet. No dramatic interviews. No emotional posts. Just silence. Until recently, when a small detail quietly surfaced that caught the internet's attention. Cory reportedly visited a well-known cosmetic dentist and revealed a brand new smile. The kind of glow-up people usually associate with someone re-entering the dating world. That single detail reignited the conversation online. Suddenly people began wondering if the real twist in this story had nothing to do with Tia's healing journey at all. Instead, the question now floating through social media is simple: what happens when the person you left behind decides to move forward without looking back? Because according to insiders, Cory has seen everything that has been said publicly. And one thing appears very clear. He is not thinking about going back. The internet is watching this situation unfold like a slow-burn drama that nobody can look away from, because according to whispers circulating behind the scenes, he has already moved on. Sources claim he is actively dating again, quietly stepping back into the world of relationships while the public is still dissecting the emotional aftermath of that very public breakup.